Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Śrī Giriraja Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. My name is Venu-madhurya Das, currently in Gitanagari, Pennsylvania. I wanted to record this message, this video message, in glorification and in memory and in expression of my gratitude to His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj, who is a very dear person to many of you, to many of us, who have came in contact with this great soul in this lifetime. Although I probably will not say something that you don't know yourself if you have came in contact with Maharaj. Nonetheless, there is a big urge in my heart to share some valuable memories and to share how this one person made great impact on my spiritual journey. And this video will be in two parts. This part I will dedicate solely to Maharaj, and the second part I will dedicate to his disciples. All of them made this miracle, spiritual miracle, in my life a reality. Hare Krishna. So you all know how intense Maharaj's desire was to engage everyone in singing and dancing for Krishna. So that's why the Harinams was his one of the favorite activities. For his Vyasa Puja, he always engaged devotees in Harinam, the Queen's Day in Holland. And I specifically love this picture because it shows how wonderful Harinams are. Just look at Maharaj here. It reminds me of this beautiful painting of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda dancing in the streets of Bengal. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you look at this Harinam in Prague, just look how everyone is happy, dancing for Krishna. Hundreds of devotees take part in this beautiful Harinam Sankirtan. Yes, whether brahmacharis or grihastas, anytime Maharaj would come, specifically to Prague, as I said, hundreds of devotees would come out. Here I am also in this green Hawaii shirt, t-shirt, and yeah, the atmosphere would just pierce with holy name the streets of Prague. We have it a king's route, a tourist route in Harinam, where all the tourists are always going through. So just in one Harinam, thousands of persons would hear the holy name. Any day in summer, if you just go this route in Harinam, thousands of people would hear the holy name. This is just amazing. If you think that it cannot get any better than Harinam, well, wait till Ratha Yatra comes to Prague. So multiply 100 devotees on Harinam by 5, and you get 500 devotees on Ratha Yatra. And if Kadamba Kanana Maharaj comes with other sannyasis, then it just blows the whole city away with the chanting of holy name. All the senses are fully engaged. Maharaj is super energized and is just, as I said, blowing the whole city away with chanting of the holy name and dancing for Lord Jagannath's pleasure. Now, Prabhus, you've seen it many times, but again, just see this energy. See how Maharaj is ignited, how he's just fully absorbed, and how he wants everyone just to go into madness and ecstasy. Look at those mridanga players sweating, Antardvip here, his kurta is transparent out of sweat in his orange hat. Nearby, Prangavinda Prabhu is trying hard. Hamsavatar Prabhu and Gauranga Prabhu and Dharnidhar Prabhu, all those 5 mridanga players, they try, but, it's just hard to keep up for like 2 hours of dancing and chanting and playing vigorously. This is madness. Now, Maharaj always said that our kirtans, indoor kirtans in temple or preaching centers, are preparations for those big harinams or nagar sankirtan like we just seen and absorbed. But still, there's something special about those kirtan mellows. The kirtan or kirtan mellows that were organized, where Kadamba Kanana Maharaj was participating, they were just so intensely deep. Devotees, they would just be drunk out of hours of chanting with Maharaj. I literally have experienced the most drunken state of my consciousness, being fully, my body couldn't move anymore. I was dancing and dancing, particularly in this kirtan, which I'm showing right now. This is 2014. Just look at this, me in this, at the back in this yellow kurta, and nearby, Ishan Nagarpur, a big boy, to make him dance and jump like this has to be something extraordinary. It takes Kadamba Kanana Maharaj to do that. In that black t-shirt or dark blue, whatever, is Radha Londaneshwara Prabhu, a great devotee from UK, from London, a great musician also in Kirtaniya. Yeah, we just went in a complete madness and being like that, just being drunk with holy name. This is the essence of Krishna consciousness. You don't need any intoxications. You don't need anything artificial to be happy. All you need is to get together with devotees and chant and dance, and chant and dance, and again chant and dance. And then you'll experience the most highest bliss. As early devotees would say, stay high forever by just chanting Hare Krishna. Time I remember in 2011, it was November or October, and I felt really bad. My consciousness dropped a lot. I was just a beginning devotee back then and chanted pranam mantra, And there were some difficulties I was going through, and my consciousness was really low. And Kadamba Kanana Maharaj came. So somehow or other, by mercy of devotees, different devotees, I happened to be present in all of the 5 programs Maharaj did in Czech Republic. Most of them were in Prague, one was outside, different city. And I was exposed to, each program was over 2 hours, Katha and Kirtan. It was about 3 hours each program. And I was exposed for 5 days straight to this Katha and Kirtan. By the end of the 5th day, I forgot all my worries, all my hesitations and everything. Just all of a sudden, I was back there in Krishna consciousness. And it was real, it was tangible, it was very tasty to be back to this proper consciousness called Krishna consciousness, when you are fully absorbed and focused in devotional service, and you're blissful, and nothing worries you, and you just can keep up going and chanting and taking prasadam and serving with devotees, and you're happy again. All it takes is a proper katha and proper kirtan, especially with such souls, such great souls as His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Maharaj. Kadamba Kanana Maharaj ki jai. Actually, the funny thing is that we didn't know, while dancing crazy here, we didn't know it. We have been filmed, Antardvi Prabhu is playing kartals here next to Maharaj. He had this camera, he was recording everything, but at that time I didn't know he's doing that. I found out much later, and actually it's nice because we really have, just completely got ourselves absorbed in chanting and hearing and dancing for Krishna's pleasure. And Maharaj could really extract all that energy and use all that youthful energy in service of Krishna. That was his specialty. He could really use every single drop of our energy, engaging us in Krishna's service. And we're so much grateful to him for that. So much grateful. Unbelievable, unforgettable memories all of us have. And I'm sure all devotees who have participated here can testify to that. I'll tell you one story, my personal story with Maharaj. That was still back 2011. And Maharaj came for 5 days in Prague, and I think second or third day, maybe second day, we were in one of the Govinda's restaurants. And I saw Madhu Pandit Prabhu, a wonderful disciple of Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, my great friend from Czech Republic. He had this camera, kind of professional camera, looked like it. And I thought, I'm sitting so close to Maharaj, he's leading kirtan. I thought, and it was just so beautiful. The lights were like very nicely on his face. And I thought, okay, maybe I should make some pictures. And I thought, that would be a nice present for my, great friend, Madhu Pandit Prabhu. He would really enjoy those close-up pictures with his Guru Maharaj. So, I'm asking for his camera. So he gives me the camera, and I'm making those shots really close, like I'm sitting right next to Maharaj, like, I don't know, a few meters away. So I'm making one shot after the other. I'm really getting absorbed in making those pictures. And all of a sudden, Maharaj gives me a look, and then all the devotees already kind of understand. This is awkward, the guy sits right next to Maharaj and just put his camera almost to his face and making pictures. And, so everybody started kind of indicating while kirtan was going on. I was so absorbed, I didn't even notice it first, few seconds. And then, of course, I realized that, okay, it's time to stop. So I did. And then Maharaj was making, of course, a joke about, during the class, I'm such a good photographer. And, in his manner of making jokes, he was mocking me a little bit. And then he did it the next day also. In the next lecture, he again mocked me about this incident. What I did know at that time, and that's the funniest part, that this camera was not Madhu Pandit Prabhu's camera. This camera belonged to Maharaj. So I was making pictures on his camera of him. Anyway, if I knew, of course, I would stop immediately. I wouldn't even probably be asking for that, but I was willing to undergo this embarrassment even just to, please devotee. But in the end, it was Maharaj's camera, so I got myself really embarrassed. But anyway, I still remember even being mocked or a little bit chastised by Maharaj publicly. It was a great bliss. I really relish those memories. Well, here I am rotating Radha Londanishwara Prabhu, and I guess I first time won that rotation game that devotees do sometimes. Yeah, such a bliss. Maharaj could just fully absorb us in this bliss. Somehow Maharaj was always merciful to me, In this Kirtan Mela 2014 in Maltersdorf, somehow I ended up being partially organizing it, the program, the schedule. And I remember after this whole event, I was so in debt, in big debt to Maharaj, to all this experience. I wrote him a poem and gave him in English. First time probably wrote a poem in English and gave him the postcard. And Maharaj read it. He sat outside in the garden. He read the poem and then he looked at me and he said, "This world looks beautiful and attractive, but actually it's not." And this is all he said. This world looks beautiful and attractive, but actually it's not. And in those words, even though it was kind of, in one sense, not related to what I wrote about, just glorifying him in that poem, but that instruction that he kind of said out loud stick with me. I was always, anytime I saw some beautiful scenery or, as Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that it's just a fraction of the beauty. All we see is the most attractive here in this world, just a fraction of the beauty of Krishna. And and that instruction kind of stuck with me, and I meditated on it, and hopefully one day I'll be able to fully realize it and just get my full attention, full attraction to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Of course, Maharaj is known not only for his kirtans or festivals or Ratha Yatras, his classes, his sense of humor, his deep knowledge of Shastra, his relevant examples in this material world for us, his glorification of Srila Prabhupada, and even more of Srila Prabhupada disciples and the true followers. This all is completely absorbing our consciousness. Once I was actually able to translate one class for Maharaj that same year, 2014, on that Kirtan Mela, because of the strong presence of Russian-speaking devotees. I was translating classes for different sannyasis and speakers. And that class, I remember so vividly. What Maharaj was saying just stuck to me. And I'll just leave you to listen to this 1 minute or 2 minutes of his class closer to the end, because it's so relevant to what we are undergoing, all of us, right now in this separation with Maharaj.
So, all our good fortune we received by the mercy of Śrī Prabhupada, and that is most wonderful.
Поэтому вся удача, которая у нас есть, мы получили по милости Шрилы Прабхупады.
And by his dedicated followers,
благодаря его преданным последователям,
who carry that mercy to so many people,
которые продолжают нести эту милость дальше стольким людям, стольким душам,
like Madhurya,
как Мадхудвиша,
whose love for Prabhupada was so deep.
Его любовь к Прабхупаде была настолько глубока,
And for Prabhupada, he could do anything.
Он мог для него сделать абсолютно все, что угодно.
So Madhudvisa just left the planet.
И Мадхудвиша недавно совсем оставил планету.
And another one of those special devotees of Śrīla Prabhupada is now no longer here on this planet with us.
И еще один из великих последователей учеников Шрилы Прабхупады уже не с нами сейчас на этой планете.
One of those devotees who remained serious throughout his life, even when he had some struggle.
И это один из тех преданных, который оставался всегда очень серьезным в своей практике, несмотря на какие-то трудности.
And each time when such a devotee leaves, right,
и каждый раз, когда такой преданный уходит,
it transfers the responsibility to be pure more and more onto our shoulders.
И каждый раз, когда такой преданный уходит, он передает эту ответственность другим преданным на наш, быть таким на наши плечи ложится.
More and more, it's with us now.
Все больше и больше это передается нам.
This responsibility to just be pure.
Это ответственность быть чистым.
And to just not fall down to begin with.
И хотя бы не упасть, с этого начать.
And to just chant.
Хотя бы воспевать.
And to just be absorbed in the holy name.
Хотя бы погрузиться в святое имя.
And to read and hear about Krishna.
Читать и слушать о Кришне.
And discover more and more about Krishna.
И находить все больше и больше о Кришне.
And it's exciting. There's always something new.
И это так удивительно, так восхитительно, все время что-то новое.
And I'll end with that, with something new.
И я закончу на этом, еще расскажу вам кое-что новое.
At least new for me.
Хотя бы для меня я открыл.
And the following is a desire of Maharaj that I'm taking deeply into my heart. It's something that he truly wishes to all of us.
The lotus feet of Krishna is all that we desire. All other desires are not real. So many desires we carry with us, and we know it's a waste of time, still they are there. So the lotus feet of Krishna. So this chanting is for that, to throw off all these false thoughts, desires, and just to keep one thing, the lotus feet of Krishna, on our mind, and just again and again chanting the holy name, sometimes soft and gentle, sometimes at the top of our lungs. All that chanting is just going to do one thing. Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindhya. It is going to fix our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. So let us now retreat for a little while and rest and think of the we continue again. And may throughout the night, the holy name play in our minds continuously while we're sleeping, so that even then the mode of ignorance disappears. Because it happens that we wake up in the morning and the same melody is still playing. Then we know the chanting was with us the entire night. This is called Gudakesh, the conqueror of sleep. So let us in this way have a transcendental night. I thank you and see you again. Manya Hare Krishna.
I would like to finish with the Śrīmad Bhagavatam verse 1930. Tadopasam hrichagira sahasranir vimukta sangam mana adi purushe Krishna lasat pita pate chaturbuje purastite milita drik vyadharayat. Thereupon that man who spoke on different subjects with thousands of meanings, and who fought on thousands of battlefields, and protected thousands of men, stopped speaking, and being completely freed from all bondage, withdrew his mind from everything else, and fixed his wide open eyes upon the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who stood before him, four-handed, dressed in yellow garments that glittered and shined. Dear Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj, you will be dearly missed, and I have no doubts whatsoever, by leaving this body in Vrindavan Dham, that you are going back to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Bhagavan. Please be kindly merciful unto all of us. Remember us and call us from there, from Shigaloka, all of us, back to Godhead, as you always did. Let your Hari Kirtan and Hari Katha be always heard, and let it pinch our hearts and trigger that love of Godhead, evoke that love of Godhead in all of our hearts. Thank you, Maharaj. You've been a very special person to me personally, and to all of the devotees who came across you in this lifetime.